Awesome. So we are about to dive in, guys. Today we are going to cover the Sphere Rocket VA Masterclass on using a VA for agent-to-agent referral creations. If you guys have not heard this class before, it's a very, very simple class. If you guys haven't attended our masterminds before, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what our masterminds look like, kind of what they are. But the whole goal, in our opinion, is to get you about 75% of the way there. So what is today's topic? Today's topic is today we're covering how to get more real estate agent referrals from real estate partners across the country and within your own city. We at Sphere Rocket believe, and we know from my history as an agent, a lot of people know that I have run a team of 20 plus agents in my time. And we found that most of our referrals actually came from within our own city, within our own state, more than they ever came within, within inside of our brokerage or within inside of a national type structure. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to accomplish that. What is a masterclass? If you guys have never attended a masterclass before, it's for all of our new friends, all of our new members. The masterclass's main purpose is to train you and your VA on how to perform the new task based in leverage, which I think is the key word, is based in leverage. When we're going through these classes, you should be thinking about how and what do I need to provide my VA that Justin is saying that needs to be provided in order for my VA to take the skill set that we are teaching and go out and implement. We truly know that if all you do is get on here, give this to your VA, say, go out and implement this, they're going to struggle because there's still a lot of pieces of different pieces that you have to be involved in order for it to be successful. So 75% of the way there is what we intend to train. I want to remind you guys, if you have to jump off early, you got something more important to do, like master classes are one of those classes where I tell you guys, I love that you're here, but if I were you, I wouldn't always be attending all of these because you might have a better use of your hour and you can watch these on the weekend while you're picking up your kids, so if you need to watch a replay of it ever in the future, or you want to look back over the last 3, 4, 5 months and seeing all the calls we do on a weekly basis and kind of catch up, you guys can just go to sphererockettraining.com. Use your login that you guys were provided upon sign up with Sphere Rocket. If you lost it, you don't know how to log in, it's not working for you, just hit us up in the Facebook group and we'll get you guys connected to it. So employers' role in this process. We always cover what does the employer have to do in each of these master classes to what we teach. Today, the employer just has to establish the principles of how they want to get referrals. I'm going to show you guys 3 or 4 different ways. It's ultimately up to you guys as the employer to direct your VA on what way you guys want to silo down in on. Over time, what we find is agents can then start to do all 3 ways, all 4 ways once you really become honed in and crafted, but we don't recommend that you guys do all 4 different ways that we're going to start off by teaching you guys today. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions about that, I am ready to rock and roll. The main things that we're going to teach the VAs today is list building, monthly email send outs, Facebook group monitoring, referral updates, and then strategies to obviously make sure that you guys are winning those referrals. So with that being said, the fundamental foundation of what I want to show you guys first today is the understanding of what an agent-to-agent referral is. And this might seem totally elementary, but if we don't cover it, the rest of this isn't going to make sense. So really an agent-to-agent referral is sending a deal from one agent to another. So obviously the one we hear about a lot today is Justin, everybody's exiting California. They're all coming to Nashville. They're all coming to Dallas. They're all coming to Seattle. They're all coming to Florida. Like, that's an example of an agent-to-agent referral, an agent sending a deal from one agent to another. So if you're a virtual assistant watching this, we all know that our employers want more referrals, because if an agent in California calls your employer in Florida and they say, I got a deal for you, we all know that our salaries, our commissions are all paid via doing more deals. So you as a virtual assistant, you have a benefit to get your team leader more deals because it ensures your employment longer. It ensures that you get future raises. It ensures just the good health of the company. So you really do have a vested interest. And one person I want to point out, if you guys ever want to pick anybody's brain, Deanna Dobsloff out of New Mexico, her VA Lucky. She has 3 or 4 VAs with us. They dominate this space. I bet you, and she might correct me on this number, it would probably in the higher range. Lucky probably makes her an extra 100, 150, $200,000 a year just in his ability to get referrals from her and win them in a really efficient manner. So we're going to cover some of the strategies that they use, that we've taught them, et cetera, today as well. The other thing I want you guys to understand is understanding what ROI is. Again, another very simplistic thing, but what I find is a lot of times presenters overinflate what is possible. And when I say overinflate what is possible, I mean not what is possible, but what is possible in the first 30, 60, 70, 90 days. And so what we want to understand is for most agents across the market using average price points, 1 extra deal is worth $10,000. 5 extra deals is worth 50, 10 is worth 100,000. And so I want you guys to look at this strategy in the terms of how do I get 10 extra deals next year? Not how do I go and do 100 deals, or not 500 deals, or how do I do 1 deal? I want you guys to look at this like, what if I put in this one strategy, my VA ran 95, 97% of it, and I made an extra $100,000. It gives you guys a metric to kind of, compare against, right? And usually what I tell people is everything has a 90 to 120 day lag. Like, you're probably not going to cash your first referral check in the next 60 days from these strategies, because number one, even if you got the referral the day, you're not cashing that check for probably 60 days anyways, right? You're competing against hundreds of other buyers, or maybe if you got a listing, you would, but you guys kind of get the point here. Most referrals are obviously going to be on the buyer side many times compared to the listing side. So my goal is to teach you guys this strategy, pick one of the ways, and get 10 more deals done next year by following these methods. So with that being said, we want to understand that the first steps for what we call a state and brokerage, we want to get referrals from within, number one, our own state first, and then we want to get referrals from within our own brokerage. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my history. For about 6-7 years, I was at Keller Williams. I am at EXP now, and long story short, the biggest place that I got referrals was number one, from agents within my own state, and number two, agents within my own brokerage. And then when I combined both of those together and I looked at agents within my own state that were at my own brokerage, that is where we really started to excel. And the reason why we excelled, and this is what I want to show you guys, I'm going to show you guys a map of Nashville, Tennessee. You guys know I moved here during COVID, during the pandemic. I moved out here to kind of hide away from the rest of the world so I could continue to develop Sphere Rocket virtual assistants. I actually want to pull up a map of Tennessee here, and I apologize, guys, I didn't have this ready. But I want to pull up a map of Tennessee. And the reason why I want to pull up a map of Tennessee is I want you guys to take a quick look at the structure of any state. And what we're going to teach you here is that any state's this way. When I look, and I was at Keller Williams, I used to go to these conferences you guys have probably heard of, like Family Reunion, and they were conferences where we would go and meet agents from across the country, right? The company had 150,000 agents, 20,000 agents, usually your higher producers would come together, we would conference, we would party, we would learn. And I was always so disappointed of like, man, I met hundreds of agents and I got their information, I touched them on email campaigns. Why am I not getting referrals? And what I soon realized was, well, I had went to the conference and I had met this agent from Manhattan. I had met this agent from Anchorage, Alaska. I had met this agent from, Polytech, California, San Diego, met this agent from, Jacksonville, Florida. And while that was great, and those relationships do pay off in the long term, what I realized is, what's the chance of that agent who I'm going to call a higher producer 20 deals, right? We have many of you guys listening here do way more than that. Some of you guys are at that. Some of you guys are about to get there. But in the real estate industry, a mega producer is usually considered 20 plus transactions, depending on your market. And so when you look at an agent's 20 transactions, if 5 to 10 of them are double-sided deals within their own city, of friends, family, just moving, upgrading, downgrading, and then you got a few in-state, out-of-states, first-time home buyers, things like that. How many deals is that agent doing out of, Florida, out of New York, out of Anchorage, Alaska, that even have the remote possibility of needing any part of you in Nashville, Tennessee? And so once I started to correct my mindset around that, I said, man, these agents, they're just not doing a lot of Nashville, Tennessee business. And even if they are, maybe they forget about me, right? Maybe they have a brother or sister. And so when we started to focus on where does the majority of the referrals come from, when I live in Nashville, we really started to figure out the numbers through tracking was if Nashville's here in the middle, guess what? Clarksville is a 45-minute drive from downtown Nashville. And so we have agents in Clarksville that have deals coming to Nashville all the time, right? These Clarksville agents, they don't want to drive 45 minutes. Now, some do. I get it. Young, hungry agents a lot of the time. Many just times hungry agents. I don't want to say just young. But a lot of the times they're willing to put in a little bit of extra work and effort, maybe because their business isn't off the ground yet. Maybe they don't have that leverage in place. And so they'll go do the deals. But a majority of agents that are experienced and have good businesses aren't going to come from Clarksville and come all the way to Nashville to do a deal. And so what I realized is I knew that there was way more chance of someone moving from Clarksville to Nashville than there was from New York to Nashville or Florida to Nashville. Obviously, barring any major company moves. Yes, if you live in a small city in Boulder, Colorado, and they move a 20,000 person operation in Nashville, yes, then that could be a good shot. But those are obviously rare instances that we call honeypots rather than something you put and build your business on. And so what I realized is I wanted to focus all of my attention on, I wanted every agent in Clarksville to know who I was. And the best person that I could get in Clarksville to trust me the fastest was going to be a Clarksville agent with inside of my same brokerage. So at the time, now I'm at EXP, the very first person I would target in Clarksville is I want every EXP agent in Clarksville to know that Justin Nelson is the king of Nashville real estate. And I could sell 0 homes a year, or I could sell 100 here, as long as I'm naming myself and putting out that persona that I'm extremely busy in real estate here in Nashville, Tennessee. Those Clarksville agents are going to be like, man, I know Justin. I get his emails. He's reached out to me a few times. He said hi, right? Like those are the people we want to pour our energy into. Now, I obviously am teaching this from a little bit of the perspective of you being at a larger brokerage. If you're not at a larger brokerage, I tell you guys to do the exact same thing in reverse, right? So like, for example, I know let's see who we got on this call. Christopher, I know you're out of Nashville here. I don't know if Village is up in Clarksville, but if they're not, what I would be doing, Christopher, is I'd be going up to Clarksville going, who are the independent brokerages that should know who I am? Who are the small mom and pop shops? Who are the brokerages that don't have a brokerage in Nashville? And I would start to let all those agents know that I am here to service your clients in my boutique type brokerage. And so the same thing goes here. So when I learned that, I went, okay, Clarksville, 45 minutes away, I can get all their business. Memphis agents aren't going to come here. Jackson agents aren't going to come here. Columbia agents might come here, but there'll still be a good portion that wall. Chattanooga, Knoxville, Johnson City, and we started to build an entire formula. So like, for example, you guys will see here, let me pull up one of my drives here just to kind of give you guys a real life example of what this looks like, kind of in action, what my VAs are actually even doing right now as a part of one of our newest projects. And I just unshared my screen real fast so you guys could see this. But what we do is we practice what we preach every single day. One of my VAs goes into all the different states that we're advertising to, and we're going to actually pull a complete list of everything we're doing. So if I went into Tennessee, I went into the Tennessee EXP brokerage and I started to pull out all of these different names, all of where they're located, their phone numbers, their email addresses, etc. And I am going to start advertising to them. I'm going to start running Facebook ads to them for $2 to $3 a day. I'm going to start sending them messages on text message, email addresses, and I'm going to come from a place of value and just let them know Justin Nelson, who is within the same company as you, loves you and is going to get you content and material that can help build your business. Guys, if you guys are on this call and you have a VA, you are ahead of 99% of the real estate agent population. You could shoot a 5-minute video on how to hold an open house and it would blow the minds of 99% of agents. It might not blow your mind anymore because your level of expertise has gotten so accustomed, you become accustomed to it, you don't think it's anything special anymore. But when you put it out into the world to others, you soon realize Education many times is you teaching where you were a year or two ago, and it amazes people. And so with that being said, this is kind of one of the very first ways that we can start to create content and do it in a really effective and cheap manner. Is number one is figuring out who's in your state, who's at the same brokerage as you. Again, if you don't have the brokerage part, totally okay. That's just kind of where you go into look for small mom pop independents. So the very first step is we're going to create a MailChimp account. We're going to create a MailChimp account. If you guys have never heard of MailChimp, it's a really easy mass email system. If you guys think that me mass emailing these people coldly is illegal, people aren't going to like it. Number one, it's not illegal. You can mass cold email people as long as you have the right unsubscribes and you follow the right canned spam laws. You absolutely are allowed to cold email. You just gotta make sure you follow the right rules. Number two, these people usually aren't gonna be mad as long as I'm delivering value because they're within my own same damn company. It's rare that they're ever gonna be upset that I am sending them some things of value. So that's number one. That's the very first step that we're going to take, is to create the list. We're gonna create a MailChimp account. So number one, create a MailChimp account. Number two is to create a spreadsheet with all the agents' emails in it, which you guys kind of just saw over here. Then what we're going to do is and that may take some time, guys. Like, that's not an overnight project. So if your VA is doing a lot of other things for you and you assign them this project could take you a month, 2, 3 months. But remember, we're trying to make $100,000 in ROI. It's not going to just come overnight. The next thing is we're going to do a weekly video giving only value, right? So this is the video we're going to record. It could just be you on your cell phone giving some tips and tricks of what's working here in Nashville. Hey, Bob, and it wouldn't say, hey, Bob. It'd go, hey, guys, I just wanted to let you know, I just ran an open house last week in Nashville. I got 2 buyers. One of the things that I think made it successful is I tried this, right? Or, hey, I just did a lot of deals last year from this, and I wanted to share with you a tip and trick. Really, really easy, because if you guys have a VA, I know your business is at the place that you can share information. And then we always say to come up with a unique name. Like, maybe you always end every, email or every video with, hey, just wanted to say thank you guys for watching, and let me know if I can ever do anything for you from your favorite Nashville agent, Justin Nelson, right? We're giving and leading with value, and we're putting this message subconsciously into their head that you are the king or queen of real estate in your area. You can sell 0 homes a year, and as long as you keep putting out into that world that you're their favorite Nashville agent, you are going to sell a good amount of homes from referrals. So that's kind of step number one. An example email schedule would be monthly agent video training tips, send that to them. Also, maybe doing a monthly market update. Those don't get as much response, but if you're just like totally dry and you don't have a lot of material and you're just looking to do something, still sending something like that is better than not sending anything. Because again, brokerage specific works amazing, because it's very rare that anybody's going to be upset that you're sending them some marketing, right? So if you guys have never seen MailChimp, this is what MailChimp looks like. I think like your first 1,000 contacts are free, so it's a relatively inexpensive system. I think even at the max, I have like 15,000 agents that I email on a monthly basis, and I think that maybe cost me like $150. But obviously, once you start to get into the range of 10 to 15,000 agents, you're obviously doing it because it's working at a really high level for you, and $150 at that point would start to be a drop in the bucket compared to your return on investment. So that was way number one that we just covered, was kind of email marketing. I tried to keep it very simple because most of you can't start that until you go and build the list. So build the list, send them 2 things of value a month. Do that consistently for 12 months. You're going to be amazed at how many people start to know who you are and start to send you those deals that are really, really easy because they're just moving within the same state. Number 2 is what we call the social media hawk. A lot of you guys are a part of these big national real estate referral groups, right? And I'm going to show you guys some of them right now. You guys all know exactly what I am talking about. I'm going to go here. You're going to see this here. So I'm letting a few more people in. Like, for example, Lab Code Agent Referrals. And guys, there are 400, 500, 600 of these groups out there. You just need to go find them all. This is people posting, hey, I have a referral. So Yoli says, looking for an agent in Menifee, California. Needs someone who's patient and good customer service. 2 comments, right? if you have a virtual assistant join all of these groups, your VA is at their computer 8 hours a day. They should be monitoring these groups. They should be taking 5-minute breaks to scroll through these. And look, I mean, look at this. For example, Christopher, you and I talked, you're in Nashville looking for an agent in Clarksville, Tennessee for a buyer referral, right? My VA within 5 minutes last night found this, sent that agent a message. We were in the running, right? And so these are opportunities that we can see, even like this one. Jacksonville, Florida. It's got 85 comments now, but in the first 30 minutes earlier when I was looking at this, it only had like 3 comments. And so we use our VAs to help us win a lot of these. If you guys are ever wondering how's the same agent seem to win over and over and over again, it's because more of them than you think actually are using our virtual assistants. I would say 10, 20, 30 of the top people in all these groups are using our VAs at some level and are making hundreds of thousands of dollars each by having their VAs watch these groups. So number 1 is to obviously locate all the Facebook referral groups. Number 2 is to join them all. A lot of people try to have their VAs join them. Obviously, if you have your VAs try to join them, it's not usually as effective because, you know, obviously most people see your VA lives in the Philippines, or number 2, they don't let the VA in at all. So we usually like the VAs to log into our Facebook personally, use a VPN, and do it all from within our account. Step number 3 is to create alliances, right? Start to become friends with people in that group that know that you're from your city and will tag you when they see the post, right? So not only do you have the VA looking at them sometimes, or you looking at them sometimes, you also got other people out there looking at them and tagging you and doing different things like that. So step number 4 is being active, tagging others you know. You know, for example, if I would have seen this post earlier for Clarksville, Tennessee, I could have gone in there. I could have tagged Christopher. Christopher's like, man, thanks, Justin, for tagging me in there. I know you're out of Dallas, man. Anytime I see one for Dallas, he's probably subconsciously going to tag me. Kind of the same method. And number 5 is to have your card saved for instant posting. So whenever you come across these, you'll kind of see some of these people have their cards listed in here. So, and I'll show you guys some example. They kind of have some pre-built things to where it's like, hey, here's where you can go. Here's where you can get a hold of us. Like very, very professional looking. Like Krista right here, or Christy, I like the way she did that. Could look a little bit better, but kind of has the right structure as far as what we're looking to do there. So just want to show you guys that real fast. Outside of that, I want to take a quick second to see if anybody has any questions on those first 2 things we covered.
So for on the card side of that, do you just save that as a photo in your Facebook profile, so you can almost just like share that as a photo?
Yeah, let me actually see. Many of you guys might know someone by the name of Shannon Maxwell, who's actually out of Tennessee here. She wins a lot of the Tennessee referrals. She absolutely just dominates. And I want to see what she does because she uses one of our VAs as well. I want to show you guys a real life example of that. If I can find it. If not, I'll make sure to send you guys a few copies, but absolutely, just any type of photo works great. Just giving the opportunity. Now, obviously, once we get really, really deep, guys, into this, you know, you're going to start to find that if you get in there and you're the 400 comment, you're not going to win. That's obviously where the VAs are coming in handy, is obviously trying to win you in the first few people. So, you know, oh, here's a great one here. It has all about their stats, has a little bit about, you know, member of this, member of that. Not only do we do 25% referral, we do this. And again, these are just little examples of great opportunities. You can obviously tell usually who's winning them is because they've done this enough times that they kind of know what they're doing. So great question on that. Obviously, any way you can do to stand out, the better when it comes to that. Now, obviously, this also works in the masses, guys, right? If you go and join 2 referral groups and there's 1 referral a month there, obviously it's hard to break into. If you go join 3, 4, 500 of them, a lot of them, especially the smaller ones, you know, have a great opportunity for different things like that. Again, if you're at a bigger brokerage, if you guys want my opinion, you know, of why, Justin, why are you sometimes at a bigger brokerage when you could do this and you could do that? Guess what? When I'm at a bigger brokerage, I have 50,000 agents across the country that I'm teaching to learn my name. that will make me more money than anything I'll ever pay in a split, anything like that. So that wasn't like why one brokerage is better than the others. That's just one of the reasons why you guys will see that I will always align myself personally based on the way my business is built with a large brokerage because of this type of strategy. I got 49,999 other agents working for me on the referral game, which is where we spend a lot of our time. So as far as social media, how it goes, that's kind of the easy step. So I wanted to show you guys just some examples, you know, obviously lab coat agent referrals, next level agents. If you guys just go into Facebook here and you guys just type in referral groups here, what you guys will find is, and you go up here to the left and then you go to groups, you guys will find that there's hundreds of them. So referral group, referral group, referral group, referral group. Obviously some won't let you in there. Like if you're, you know, a KW agent or a Remax agent, like you might not be able to get into the EXP referral group, or you might not be able to get into the KW referral group or Remax or whatever. But you guys can just go through here and see that there are just thousands of groups in here. I would join them all. If you guys know that these don't really hit your feed anymore, so there's really no downside into being in as many of those as possible. So with that being said, that's way number 2, guys. Just to recap, way number 1, grab as many people in your same state, same brokerage, email them 2 to 3 times a month. Keep it stupid simple. Number 2, go and join as many referral groups as you possibly can to get these possible referrals. Way number 3 is what we call podcasting your way to the millions. A lot of you guys may find this surprising. I would say anywhere between 50 to 75% of Sphere Rocket virtual assistant success as a business is actually due to this exact strategy right here. So number 1 is we create a list of top in-state agents using real trends. If you guys ever want to see, it's actually called Agents Best Real Trends. If you guys ever want to know who the top agents are inside of your city, if you go, and I might have to mess around here, if you guys go to this website called realtrends.com, you can actually look at who the top rankings are for your state. It will give you their production, their volume, all kinds of awesome things. So I would recommend that you guys go and check that out. And so with that being said, when you guys are inside of America's Best, it kind of lets you go in there and pick the different things that you guys want to sort by. So once you do that, I basically create a list of, you know, all the top agents within my city or within my state. I rephrase that, not within my same city, within similar cities that are a little bit outside of range. And then I'm going to invite them to a podcast using our podcast invite script. It literally says this: hey man, hey gal, you're so awesome. I love what you're doing. I saw you sold like 500 homes, like a team of 10. I would love to just pick your brain and interview you on my podcast, right? Now, what these podcasts are, guys, you don't have to have a lot of high pressure. You're not trying to be the next, you know, Joe Rogan or, you know, Dave Punoy or any of these different people on a podcast. These podcasts are used for what we call ego strokes. It's literally just having the excuse to get time and brain share with top producers. You go to a top producer, you stroke their ego enough, they will love you subconsciously whether they want to or not. And so if you're ever like, Justin, how do you have some of the connections in the industry you have? It's because I got really good at stroking people's egos. It's the reality. Even if they don't have an ego or much of an ego, you can still go and find one for them, and you will. And it's just human psychology. We like to be recognized at being successful. And so we create a list, we invite as many of those as possible. And then what we do is we use a Calendly link to schedule. So if you guys have never used Calendly and you ever find that you don't have a lot of time in your day, we use Calendly for everything. So I'm going to show you guys real fast what my Calendly link looks like. And I'll give you guys a little sneak peek at like what it is. But this is basically just a calendar link that we include in the email that says, hey, if you want to book a time on Justin's podcast and this would be interesting for you, just come on this link. It gives them the Zoom link. It gives them the details. They come on here. They click their time. They answer these questions. Boom. Now I know by looking at my calendar. So when I come over to my calendar for the week, you guys will see that, hey, like yesterday, for example, start my day at 3:30, get my stuff done in the morning. I now have all these podcasts that automatically just came on my calendar. I didn't even know who these people were, but my assistant, my VA, had sent out enough of these icon registrations that people registered. After yesterday, I had 4 calls. And guess what? All 4 calls were like, hey, Justin, by the way, what do you do, man? I said, I run a virtual assistant company. 2 of the 4 ended up buying a virtual assistant yesterday alone. And so what you guys will see now is boom, that was just an $8,000-$10,000 check for us because we went and stroked egos of our ideal client. And so the same thing can be done for you guys. You guys are obviously just looking more for the referral game, right? So you want to be very particular about who you're interviewing. Now, step number 3 is we use StreamYard to stream our podcast. If you guys have never used StreamYard, I would definitely recommend looking into it. I love that they have a free version that works extremely, extremely well. I'm going to enter the broadcast studio real fast. Just make sure you guys stay muted for me. But I want to show you guys kind of how this works, that once you guys set up StreamYard, if you guys have ever seen people that look like they have really good productions, they look like they just have all this stuff together, guys, it's all using StreamYard. It's really, really easy. So for example, if I was about to record my StreamYard, I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to hit record. I can then have all these things preloaded, all these little clips it comes with already, and I start to now get a really professional looking podcast. I can then and then you guys see, we are basically our own editors now. So if you guys see me now, I'm on the screen, you guys can start to see how this would be broadcasted in a very professional manner in just a matter of a few minutes. And so now we go from my VA scraped the entire list. My VA sent out all the emails. My VAs coordinated it on my calendar. My VAs set up StreamYard. My VAs created the graphics. My VAs did this. I, Justin, show up for 20 to 30 minutes. I literally get to talk to my ideal prospect for free. I get to let them know who I am. I can do 20-minute podcasts. I usually tell most of my guests, I want to respect your time. I want this only 15 to 20 minutes so that people can digest it, listen to it, like it, and get on to the next episode. And I want to respect your time. A little secret, I don't want to be on a podcast that long, but I tell them I want to respect your time. So that's why we're only going to be on here 15 to 20 minutes. So with that being said, now I jump off, I hit in broadcast. Guess what? StreamYard will let me email the stream directly to my VA. My VA will then go and make it all pretty. And then if you guys have ever seen our YouTube channel, my VAs go in and output these into different places. So we now are putting the content out there, and it only took me 30 minutes a week to do that. So now my goal is to do 7, 8, 9 of these every single Monday. I'm not saying you need to go do 7, 8, or 9 of them. I just take everything to the extreme. If you guys don't know, I basically live by the 10X rule. If I think another agent would only do 2 a week, I'm going to do 10, because that truly is the only reason why I think I achieved 7 figures at 24 years old, was I just took everything to the extreme. And so I would recommend, if you're looking to supercharge it, do 5, 6, 7, 8 interviews at 10, 15 minutes a piece. Do them back to back to back, and then just now you know your VA's got the rest of it for you. So use Calendly to schedule, step number 4. Step number 5 is edit and share the podcast back with the agent, right? Now you have the excuse to reach back out to them, go, thank you so much for attending my show. Here's some edits of it. I'd love for you to share it to your network. That agent goes and shares it with their network. Well, now guess what? All the other agents that they're friends with in their community see you as well. Pretty soon, probably later or not, you've probably now invited them onto the podcast as well. Now, next thing you know, Clarksville, Tennessee is like, who is this Nashville agent that's just going around the agent community, right? You start to build this name presence to make an extra 10, 20, 30, $100,000 a year from these real estate transactions. So that's the way that we call podcasting your way to the millions. Now, if you really want to take it seriously and you want to get your podcast onto like Spotify or iTunes or things like that, we use a system called PodServe. It's really easy. We literally just download the StreamYard, upload it into PodServe, and now it goes on iTunes, it goes on Spotify. It literally takes like 5 minutes. Like people think this, oh, you gotta get approved and all that. PodServe takes care of all of that for you. And I think I spend like $3 a month on PodServe, maybe 10 if I can't remember right. It's very, very cheap. StreamYard, we use the $50 premium version because I like to do some crazy things with it. But I'll tell you, the free version works absolutely fantastic. You can still do the intros, outros, things like that. Google Drive, obviously to keep track of all the Excel spreadsheets, things like that. And then we run everything fundamentally on a book called Micro Famous by Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson runs a real estate, or used to, I'm not sure if it's still around, used to run a real estate show called Real Estate Uncensored. He was more of an artist, more of a podcast producer, even though he teamed up with, forgot his name, Matt McDaniels maybe, but Micro Famous become famously influential to the right people. The whole book is about how to do the exact strategy we just taught. I would highly recommend that you guys read Micro Famous and have your VAs read Micro Famous as well. I also have a full-time staff member that does this for me now. I made her read it last week when she was switching over to the position. So definitely recommend reading Micro Famous by Matt Johnson. This is him. That's the book in case you guys are looking for what that looks like. So with that being said, just to kind of recap what we learned today is if you guys, number one is obviously monthly mailers to in-state agents at the same brokerage. So as the employer, it should take you about 20 minutes per email times 3 emails a month. It's a 60-minute commitment. The hardest part of why we don't do this is we don't have anybody to go out there and build us this list. If you're at KW, EXP, RE/MAX, Century 21, it's really easy. If you're at a mom and pop brokerage, it's a little bit harder, can still be done. But at the end of the day, we got to go and put these target markets into our MailChimp. And then once we've that set up, 20 minutes, 3 times a month. If you can't do that, sorry guys, might not be the right strategy for you. What is the VA doing that? The VA is doing the data scrape, putting all the agents' data in there, putting it into MailChimp. That's really all they do. I've had and tried to have my VA send the emails. It just doesn't come off with the right tone. I could go hire a copywriter. Our company is doing that here in the next few months, and I think it will work. But it's definitely just not as effective as a lot of people would like for it to be. Number two is obviously the strategy we just taught of watching Facebook groups, right? So the employer, you need to call and email as needed. Your only really thing and part of that whole strategy is waiting for when your VA texts you to go, you know, hey, Justin, there's just this post here. I've already texted them for you. I've already emailed them as if I was you. I've already sent them our video intro message. I've already sent them our digital business card. I think that you should call them and just see if they're available to chat, right? Here's their cell phone number, right? The VA can do 99% of it to help you win that referral. Your VA's hard work in this is obviously joining and locating all the groups and monitoring them on a day-to-day basis. And then way number 3 that we just taught was podcasting your way to millions. Really, really easy. As the employer, you need to set up the system, right? And when I say set up the system, you're going to need to go register for StreamYard. You should probably make the intro yourself if you want an intro. And you should probably write out the documents of like, who's your target agent? Like if I was writing the documents for my VA, I'd be like, hey, I want to target all Clarksville EXP agents. I want to target Memphis EXP agents. And I obviously need to customize that to me and my market depending on where you're at. So that for me is the employer setting up the system. And then, you know, we recommend no less than 3 30-minute podcasts per week. 30 minutes is obviously leaving a little bit of time for chatting with the person about, I'd love to have my podcast at 15, 20 minutes long and leave 10 minutes either before or after just to kind of, you know, just chat it up, right? See what they're up to, learn a little bit more about them, see what their big goals are, right? And then obviously getting asked the $1 million question. Hey, I know you don't really know me that well, but is there anything I can do to help you in your business? And when you ask that question, you've just subconsciously become in their top 1% of agents just because you asked what you could do for them. And then obviously what your VA can do with that is, you know, they can go out there, create the list, and then they should be sending invites and always filling up your calendar, right? It's not that hard to fill 3 spots. If you send an email to 10 agents, usually 3 spots are going to be full. So you don't have to send a ton of emails, again, because we're talking about ego strokes. We're talking about agents that are doing 20, 30, 40, 50 deals usually. They're not usually quite enough deals to get on stage. at any of these conferences or any things like that, or to get massive recognition, but they're still making really good money and they're sending referrals all the time. Those are the agents that respond really well to this type of production. So with that being said, guys, I don't really have anything else. I always want to remind you guys, we absolutely appreciate your guys' referrals. The only way that we obviously survive as a company and keep doing all of this and really don't charge you guys a massive upcharge on a monthly basis is for you guys to keep referring us people that need VAs. So just a reminder, if you send people to sphererocketva.com, they put your name down as the referring agent, we do send you $250. Not really a sales pitch there, obviously. When we get 30, 40, 50 referrals a month, we know we're doing something right, but I want to make sure that you guys get compensated, obviously, for sharing the successes that you have. Unfortunately, if they don't put your name and they just sign up, we don't really have anybody to reward, and we don't really go back and try to fix all that. So just make sure if you guys are sharing anything about our company that you have them put your name in there to use the coupon code, because number one, it gives them the best rate. Number two, it gives you the $250. We all are happier together. So with that being said, just to recap, we covered today how to use a VA for referral creation. If you joined late, did not get to watch any of it, and you are a paying member of the Sphere Rocket family, which every single person on this call is, if you need to ever watch a replay, just make sure you go to sphererockettraining.com. Have a replay of this for you guys as well. So with that being said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop in. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds to a minute because many times we don't have questions. If you do have questions, feel free to pop in. I'd be more than happy to answer them as we wrap up here. Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys jumping on. Camille's going to get this for you guys put into the group chat. Reminder, we hold masterminds here in my Nashville apartment that's downtown. We have one in June 23rd through the 25th. We also have one in July, the last week of July. So if you guys have any interest in joining the mastermind, it's basically 2 full 4 to 5 hour days of just back to back content of just teaching best practices for VAs. Feel free to come out here and join us. I appreciate you guys tuning in.